Hi, welcome to Teen Pride Book Talk. My name is Lucy, and this is the program where I take about 5 minutes to talk about a young adult book that is representative and inclusive of folks in the LGBTQIA plus community. And the book that I want to share with you today is called The Music of What Happens. This is by Bill Konisberg. And it is the story of two teen boys, Jordan and Max. They are both out at the beginning of the book. That's not even part of the book. Their coming out story. And they meet. Jordan is sort of this skinny emo kid. Most of his friends are girls. They call themselves his wives. That's sort of his group. Max is like this outgoing, athletic, cool kid, but he's also holding on to a little bit of a secret. So they meet in Mesa, Arizona, where they live, at the beginning of this book by Jordan's food truck. Jordan is taking over the running of a food truck that was his parents'. His mother just can't do it right now. He has no idea what he's doing. He's just been thrown into this food truck, and Max comes up to get something to drink, but sees that Jordan is really struggling. So he offers to help. And lo and behold, now Max has a summer job, which is something that his parents wanted him to do. So that is good as well. And that is where the book starts off. And the two boys sort of reinvent what the food truck is going to sell. They make this prickly pear lemonade that becomes really popular. And they develop a friendship that turns into more than a friendship. One of the things that's interesting about this book, and the author Bill Konisberg said in an interview, was that this was one of the first books he's written where the characters were already out at the beginning of the book. And so that piece of it didn't have to be part of the story. He was just starting from them already being out and connecting with each other. However, they both have different aspects of their of themselves that they are sort of discovering, keeping hidden at the same time. Jordan sort of feels this deep self-hatred. He's not very accepting of who he is, and he hasn't been in a positive relationship that would help him think better of himself. So that's something that he's working really hard on. He just thinks he's unlovable. And Max, while seeming very confident, is holding on to a big secret, which has to do with consent. And he was in a relationship where, thinking back on what happened, he realizes that the actions that took place between him and this other boy were non-consensual. And I think that that's an important piece of this story. It's an important piece of Max's story to come to terms with it. But I think that it's good to have stories that show consent on all levels between all people. That's, that there's more than just no means no. There's affirmative consent. There's the ability to revoke consent. There's a lot of different pieces that Max has to think about. So these are the things that Jordan and Max are going through. And the rest of the book is how they handle that, but how they connect with each other. So mostly this book is unforgettable because Max and Jordan are great characters. They are both so endearing, and they're sweet. They're funny. They show vulnerability. I think that the book is a really good examination of masculinity. I mean, you have Jordan kind of questioning whether or not he's a true boy because he's always with these girls. You have Max struggling with this issue of consent. And so I think that is a big piece of it, is sort of this real examination of what does it mean to be masculine and how is that defined. So those are all pieces of the book. There are other plot twists that come up, which I think are handled really sensitively and well by Konisberg. And it's just, it tugs at your heartstrings because you're so rooting for these guys, but it gets into some really realistic, difficult territory in a very well done manner. So I highly recommend the music of What Happens by Bill Konisberg. And then I would go on to say that I would recommend anything by Bill Konisberg. This was the first book that I had read of his, and it sent me going back to read his older books. And he has a book that's come out since then, and he writes really well about people in the LGBTQIA plus community, and his characters are so strong that you kind of miss them when the book is over. So I'm glad that there were other books for me to turn to that he has written. So you could start with the music of What Happens. You could try one of Bill Konisberg's other books. I highly recommend that you do.